Saturday morning with Michelle 1L Cummins, no G. It is the Cummins Real Estate Group show. I'm Curtis Pope. How are you doing, Michelle?
Excellent, Curtis. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. No complaints here. So here we are, another episode of the show as we slowly work our way towards episode 100.
We're so close. 93.
93 and counting. Look at that. We'll see if you get sick of me before we get to 100.
I don't think that'll happen. 2.5 years, going on 3. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, let's see how this show goes. Maybe we should take it one show at a time.
Maybe we should reverse that, and maybe you'll be not wanting to do this further with me.
Oh, I don't know about that. It's always entertaining and informative. I've learned a ton from this show.
Still trying to decipher my words.
Well, sometimes I need a little help deciphering the words, or I need a translator, but usually a quick text to Sir Richard, helps me out.
I like keeping you guessing.
You do.
So today, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to, if I really want to. And I don't even know if you know about it. I was going to tell you earlier, but it's been a very busy week. But the Agassiz Speedway is celebrating 50 years this year, and they're the home of stock car racing in the Fraser Valley, and they're doing like this whole. It was raining, right? So I still don't know if they're going to do it, but I want to maybe go out there, but they're doing the whole thing today.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love that speedway. I mean, Mission Raceway is awesome, but this is the oval track.
Right, yeah. No, I went out there years ago with my dad, but I haven't been out there in years.
I should have told. I wonder if you have time. Well, if you have time later, I'll text you if they're still doing it.
That sounds like a plan because, I know that, racing, my dad raced cars, my brother raced, I raced, for a little while. I mean, it's in my blood.
Oh, it's so fantastic.
And that's one of the great things about this job is I've had the chance to race in go-kart races. I've got to race in celebrity stock car races. And I like to bring up I am a 2-time winner of the Abbotsford Agri Fair Demolition Derby, the celebrity edition.
Oh, my gosh. Is that on a video? Can I watch that somewhere? I
think there might be some short clips of it. I'll have to dig around for you. But the last time I won, my car was fast. I got out in front. It's like we just do like the figure 8, but they just make us do an oval because they figure the celebrities will kill themselves if we. And I use the term celebrity at a very, very low level, too.
Celebrity lowercase? Not uppercase?
Very lowercase. Like we're talking, there's A-list and B-list. We're at about Z level here. That's what we're talking about.
Have you ever been to the Langley, the old original Langley Speedway?
Yes, when I was really young and it was still running, I went out there with my dad. My dad actually used to race there.
You're not that old, Curtis.
I'm old enough that I went there when it was still operating.
Wow. And your dad raced there?
Well, here's long story short. My dad always told my mom he was working in the pit crews for his buddies. But there were occasions where he got behind the wheel and raced as well.
Oh, my goodness. Mr. Pope.
As I said, it runs in the blood.
Oh, my goodness. Today, we are going to talk about 15 ways to make money in real estate and 15 different types of real estate.
And we're going to do all that in the time allotted?
We are going to try.
We'll see how fast you have to talk through this one. All right, we better get right to this then.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the 15 different types of real estate. So let's do that first.
Okay.
1, there's condos. Most know what condos are, stratified condos. 2, there's condotels. Now that's a condo that's also a hotel. So it's got a concierge. It's got you rent them out, so you can personally use it certain times of the year, certain amount of times of the year, but you also rent them out. So it's like a hotel. So one example of this locally in White Rock is the Ocean Promenade. If you ever stayed there, those are personally owned condo units. So they're condotels. So 3 are mobile homes, which are on steel chassis to be moved. So mobile homes are built on a steel frame and are typically set on concrete blocking or cement or metal pylons. Some people don't know the difference between the mobile home and the modular home, and that's the 4th type. is a module home. So these are manufactured homes. They don't have chassis nor axles or frames. Modular homes are built with a wood floor system and are designed to go on concrete foundation, either a full basement or crawl space. So if you're looking in a mobile home park, there may be manufactured homes or modular homes there. So the difference is some mobile home parks don't allow you to have concrete foundations, others do. So there's the difference between those two types. 5 are plexes. Plexes are like a duplex or triplex or fourplex. So those are plexes. The 6th type of real estate is multifamily, which is 5 or more units. So that could be whether in a apartment style or in multiple plexes, but multifamily is 5 or more. 7 type is recreational property. So these type of properties are only used seasonally. They're not used all year round, and therefore they're called recreational properties. 8 are single-family detached homes, which most of us know what those are. 9 are townhomes. So they're stratified, and the difference from a condo strata to a townhouse is that you access a townhouse from your own parking space typically, and you don't have to walk through common areas. So you usually have a carport or a driveway and a garage, either double or tandem or single, but you have usually your own front door, your own stairwell, your own entry, and that's a townhome. So 10 are row homes. A lot of people don't know the difference between a row home and a townhome, so let me explain. They're not stratified. They're connected by what's called party walls, and there's a party agreement on title for the regular upkeep and maintenance of these party areas, like roofs and siding, joined walls, that type of thing. So there's no strata fees, no strata rules. They're actually freeholds, but they're just connected. They look much like townhomes, but sometimes they're wider, they're fancier, they have their own porch. Like really, sometimes you can't tell the difference by just looking, but you usually can because they're either on a main street. Sometimes they have a common entrance area to get to them, like there's some in Abbotsford that way, but they are row homes and they're not stratified. So 11, commercial properties. So these are high rises, low rises for offices and businesses typically. And then you've got the 11th type, which is a 12th type, retail or restaurant. So these are standalone, standalone strip malls, shopping centers. That's all part of that category of retail or restaurants. Grocery stores, standalone buildings. Number 13 type of real estate is raw land. 14th type is industrial. So these are like manufacturing and warehousing. And then the 15th type of real estate is miscellaneous things like hotels and self-storage and car wash facilities and things like that. So there you have it. Those are 15 types of real estate.
Okay, so we've gone through the 15 types now. We know what they are. Now, for people that are maybe looking to invest in real estate, because I know that is often they say the safest bet to invest in, which of these are most common for investments?
That is a good question. I actually have an article in the Mountain Neighbors coming out, I believe, in September. I'm going to be talking about that. So your primary residence, I would say, is the first investment, obviously. And if you already have that, then right now is an amazing time to refinance and pull that extra equity out of that primary residence to use towards more investments. If you're on your second investment or third investment, I say always start at good cash flow, or if you're in the Fraser Valley, really good equity growth, because that's what we're known for here, and buy wisely, but something that maybe you don't have to put so much time and effort and doesn't have as much risk. So something like a pre-sale or a brand new strata. So you're covered with a 10-year warranty. That means you have low maintenance to no maintenance, and you really are covered for anything. So you're not as worried or concerned. You don't have as many calls from the renter or the tenant things are not breaking, things like that. So new condo or new townhouse is a great way of getting into it, because also in the Fraser Valley we've got like 0 vacancy rates. So it is really easy to rent. You can rent really quickly. There's a lineup. It's usually going for auction, and you get top dollar for your rental. So not only do we have great equity growth here, but we got great rental, so great ROI. And that would be the first I would get into. And then getting into plexes, like duplexes and triplexes. And then maybe getting into multifamily. Maybe, recreational property is one of the first ones you can get as well after a primary residence, because you're allowed only to put down 5% on 2 properties. So we all are allowed to have 2 insured mortgages where you're only putting down 5%. So why not do that? And you can't do that with investment properties, though, because they consider you an investor. They consider it, like a business, and they want you to put minimum 20% down. So your second property should probably be a recreational property where you can rent it out as well as use it yourself. So it is a moneymaker, but then you only have to put 5% down on it.
Okay, well, that brings us just about to the end of our time here. So if people want more information, maybe they have questions about buying some property as an investment, or maybe they're just looking for a new house, what can they do?
mcummins.ca.
We are back with more right after this. Edition of the Cummins Real Estate Group Show. Before I forget, because I'm sure he's listening, I should probably wish a happy 16th birthday to my middle boy, Cody.
Happy birthday, Cody!
Yeah, he is 16 now. He will be driving before you know it.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna be driving. How exciting is that? Are you nervous?
Well, he goes for his learner's test on Monday, so we'll see how that plays out for him.
Oh, he's a natural driver, right?
A little bit, because in the last 6-8 months, he has been asking me a million questions when we're out driving, or pointing out that person, didn't have the right of way. Why'd they do that? Or asking me questions. And he does seem to have a lot of natural instincts for it. So I'm not too worried about him. My other two, I have a lot of worries about them.
Does he know the road signs? Like if your signals aren't working and in an emergency you have to say, oh, I'm stopping, or I'm turning right or left. Does he know those?
Yes,
signs?
He does. Yes.
Oh, those are fun. Oh, it's so exciting. So do you go out and teach him how to drive?
Well,
in your car?
I guess we'll be starting that. If he passes on Monday, that's what we'll be doing.
That's what you'll be doing. Oh, just don't, be careful. My dad was teaching, he taught all of us, but one of my sisters wasn't as natural as it is the rest. And in the middle of California, in front of our recreational center, she totally went over the meridian and hit a tree.
You almost have to make an appointment to do that. That's not, how do you do that?
Gina does it.
You know what? Some things are just better not known. We'll just go with that. Your sister ran over a median and hit a tree.
Oh, but happy birthday, Cody. Yay. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, the big 1-6. So happy birthday, boy. So enough about my kid and his birthday. Let's get back to what we're covering here. So we went through the 15 types of real estate. What's next?
Okay, so what we have next is the 15 ways to make money in real estate. Let's talk about the fun stuff.
Money, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, first is wholesaling. That is when you get a property under contract and you sell that contract to somebody else. Another way of looking at it is using the term assignment. So assigning your contract to somebody else. I have one of these I'll be mentioning later on, but this is a great way of not even putting dime into real estate, yet you're making money through real estate. So there's things that you want to make sure is in the contract that you're able to do this, but this is a great way of wholesaling or assigning contracts. So really, you're making money just selling a piece of paper. right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the second way of making money in real estate is hard money lending. So putting some money towards an investment. You can be a private money lender making high interest on the money you lend. So hard money lending. And third way of making money in real estate, part of hard money lending there's actually a couple different ways of doing it, and making money in real estate the fourth way as well. So this third point and fourth point is pretty much all under hard money lending. So you can be a broker to broker hard money, private money, where you were the one that sourced the investors for the project. So you actually don't come up with any of the money. You're just finding the money and you're putting them together with perfect projects that need their money. So that's brokering. The other part of hard money lending is gap financing. So let's say somebody is shy of $10,000, $20,000, or $50,000, whatever it may be, where you and your money, you lend your money. You either get paid back in interest or a mix of profit split. So kind of up to how you do it, but you could, or you can have interest and profit split. So that's another way. So the fifth way of making money in real estate is buy, fix up, and resell the property. So we call this flipping, adding value and selling for a profit in a very short time frame. So that's the way. And sixth way, renovate and rent it, where you add value to be able to rent it for more and have more cash flow. So if you put sweat equity into it, which you would get like a renovation loan when you purchase the property from the bank, but instead of hiring everything out, contracting it out, you do a lot of the work yourself, and that way you get to put that extra cash in your pocket, so you get more cash flow. Another way of making money is you can just buy a property that's already rented, of course, and continue on with the tenant, or buy the property and rent it out yourself, not having to put any renovations or sweat equity into it at all. And I think we're on number 7, but the next way is speculation. So buying a property in speculation where you expect it to go up in value in equity in a certain amount of time. So where somewhere where there's progress coming. But it's a ways down the road, so you're speculating. So let's say highways or roads are going to be expanded, jobs are going to be created, big companies coming into town, that the transit is coming, they're building transit, things that will actually make the value and the equity grow in the area. So that's speculation.
Okay, now that one's an interesting one, because I know my aunt and uncle, like 50 years ago, bought property in Vegas based on that, because they felt that the Strip was going to keep going rather than grow out from the Strip.
Oh, interesting.
All these years later, the Strip is nowhere near the property they bought that they thought the Strip was going to grow to.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And are they still holding on to it?
I think they sold it a few years ago finally. They didn't pay much for it, and they didn't get much for it. But it was, it was one of those kind of, well, let's see how this pans out.
And it's interesting in so many areas in Canada and the U.S. You could have bought something 20 years ago, and today you're selling it for the same price.
Yeah, and Las Vegas is a great example of that, right? Prices went up super high, and then with the whole housing crash in the U.S., Vegas got hit hard.
Yeah, and those kind of purchases, you have to be know that you are definitely in it for the long haul if you have to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and then just trying to time the market.
Absolutely. So we got speculation figured out. I even have an example of maybe poor speculation. What do we have next?
Short-term rentals. So buying a property to Airbnb, or in other words, buying a property for short-term rental purposes. So it could be, there's a lot of different, it's not just Airbnb, but that's an example. Then there's converting a property to best use. So other than what it's currently being used for. So examples of this is like if you're going to buy a property and subdivide. You're building the equity in the property because you're subdividing it. Now you're able to sell it for more. There's some time and some effort and some money that you have to put into to create and convert it to its best use. But at the end of the day, you're making more money because of it. And rezoning, same thing, that kind of a thing. So the next way of making money in real estate, lease option to purchase. So this is also called rent to own, or in short, RTOs. People have heard of that. So rent-to-owns is where you have a property and you are going to rent it to somebody who has the option to purchase it in the future. And a lot of times you get a chunk, a 10% or chunk up front from them for that option. And then they also pay a little bit more per month because you're supporting their ability to purchase it in the future. So it works for both parties. People go, why would anybody want to rent to own? Why don't they just buy it? But there's reasons why they need that and why it's good for you as the owner of a property to do a rent to own or lease option to purchase. And then the next way of making money in real estate is seller financing to get your money to go farther. So seller financing. So you have a property and you're wanting to buy property and you take on seller financing. So the way that works is a bank will only lend so much to us, so much to people, right? Then they're like, well, you're pretty risky. You already own all these properties. You own, you've got 100 doors or however many doors, and you only have so much strength behind you, and so they're going to stop lending to you eventually, and that's when you go out looking for private lending and different things like that. So if you can find somebody to seller finance, you're going to go farther because you won't need as much bank approval. So that's a good way too. And then there's limited partnership. So a real estate limited partnership is a group of investors who pool their money together to invest in property purchasing or developing or leasing under its limited partnership status. So it is a great way to relieve some risk and be able to buy more as a real estate investor and grow your wealth larger and faster. And so it's RELP for short, RELP, so real estate limited partnership, and has a general partner who assumes full liability. So there is a general partner there, and then the limited partners who are liable only up to the amount that they contribute. So that's why I say it's a little less risky by doing that. And then there's stocks and REITs. So REITs are companies that are owned and operated. This is really hands-off. This is passive investing, just having some REITs, just investing in that. And then there's crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is the use of small amounts of capital from a large number of individuals to finance a new business venture. Money coming from people or businesses that believe in your cause. So crowdfunding is a method of funding and focuses on how someone finds those funders. So it's different than syndication. Syndication is just the way that you've created the money in order to work together to be able to purchase more property, larger investments than you could otherwise on your own. So the crowdfunding is another one. And then the last one is house hacking. So house hacking, it's renting out rooms like for, let's say, Airbnb. You're living in the property, but you're house hacking by renting out maybe rooms for student housing. You're renting to student housing, or you've got a large workshop, big shop, and you don't need to use it, so you rent the shop out to somebody. And then you've got land just sitting there, and you're like, well, I could rent it to for parking of boats or RVs, like storage. So it's kind of just hacking your house and your property up by leasing and renting and making money in multiple different ways while you're living there or not. But that's how that is. So house hacking.
Interesting.
So there's 15 ways of making good money in real estate.
Interesting. Okay. Now, what about this week? What have you got in the way of like new listings or things you want to feature?
Okay, so I got 2 new listings this week I wanted to talk about. I've got this rare, almost 13 acres. It's off Morris Valley Road. It's private. It's secluded. It's actually close to town, yet you feel like you're away from it all. So great building sites for your dream home or private retreat. Great area. It's got some gravel road access. It's got a 600 amp BC hydro pole phone line. It's got a shallow well in place. just minutes from the world-class fishing at Harrison River and the Sandpiper Golf Course and Hemlock Ski Resort. 40 minutes to Mission and 20 minutes to Agassiz and Harrison Hot Springs. So it's a fantastic spot for all outdoor adventure like quadding and biking and hiking and just enjoying nature. Tons of variety of trees and wildlife. It's really great. And it's only priced at $599,900. That's almost 13 acres. There is actually a large shop. Well, they call it a cabin on it, but there's no washroom or kitchen in it. So really, banks you see this as land only. So they do require, much of them 30 or 50% down payment because there's no livable, even though there's a well, there's no real house on the property. So that is a great one for somebody. And then on Highlands Boulevard, a remarkable basement entry home with mountain and Fraser River views, only a couple years old, and it's a custom plan. So it's got the wow factor of the property, though, is the upper gardens that have commercial-grade stairwell, walkways, and gazebos. And there's an outdoor kitchen and living areas, and they all overlook over the rooftops to the most fantastic 180-degree Fraser River and Southern Mountain views you can imagine. It's beautiful. The landscape and gardens are better than walking through Butchart Gardens. I'm telling you, it's beautiful. It's amazing. I've got amazing drone video of it on my website, cinematography walkthrough. You feel so special in this backyard. It's one of a kind. And they're asking $1,099,000 for it. And then I've got this exclusive listing I have for developers. It's a 2-acre development acreage in Brookswood off 32nd near 200th Street. Currently a wonderful and beautiful nursery adjacent to the park. And it's got side future road on it. So this is a great opportunity. It is not on the system. It is an exclusive listing of mine. So it can be made into potentially 5,000 to 7,000 square foot lots and even potential of duplex strata developments. And the price is $4,880,000. And then I got some pocket listings. So pocket listings are listings that, they're not marketed anywhere. It's just my network. It's just the people who know me will know about it. So if you are interested in some properties, you're looking for properties you can't find, something like pre-construction condos, assignments, if you want to invest in something in the future, other things, give me a call. I've got some pocket listings. And I wanted to say happy 3-month anniversary to June and Nico, and happy 6-month anniversary to Cherise, and congratulations to your new baby, and happy 1-year anniversary to Brock and Michaela. I can't believe how fast time flies. It seems like I just helped you buy yesterday. It's crazy how fast it all goes by. And I wanted to leave us all with a quote of the week. Not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path.
Oh.
Silver lining in a storm. That's unanimous or unanimous.
Unanimous?
Unanimous.
Anonymous. All right, we're unanimous that it was a good quote, but it's an anonymous quote.
What did I tell you about my words earlier in the show?
That's okay. That threw me for a loop. I'm like, what? Huh? All right. No, it's all good. We figured it out. If people want more information and perhaps to find the Michelle Cummins thesaurus, where do they got to go? MichelleCummins.ca. And be sure to join us again next week. Well, once again, we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.